Hey guys, this is Steli FT with Closeout. Let's talk about turning company crisis into a sales opportunity for you. So here's the story. A few months ago with Closeout, we had a major crisis. One of the key value propositions of Closeout is that we actually offer people the ability to call leads and prospects and opportunities and customers right out of the app. So a lot of times sales teams will see dramatic performance improvements once they start using Closeout because they're going to be able to make more calls and better calls using the software. Now, one of those days, what we had is a major outage for one of our VoIP phone system providers, and basically for a bunch of hours, people couldn't make sales calls using our sales calling and communication software, Closeout, right? What could be worse than having sales teams around the world not be able to do their job using our software, and basically us, instead of propelling them forward and helping them make more sales and close more deals, actually stopping them from being more productive. It fucking sucked, right? So here's what happened. A big crisis, we get aware of it. Our technical team and engineering team gets on the job to try to fix it as quickly as possible. We send out an email to all our customers to communicate openly and transparently. This is what's going on. We're super sorry. We're working on it. We're going to keep you up to date. You can subscribe on this website to get an update on what's going on the technical side and when we have the VoIP and the calling functionality back up. And we take our sales team and we say, you know what, we have to call all our customers, apologize, figure out how they're doing, and see if we can actually help them. Now, usually when a crisis like this happens, everybody feels like shit, especially the people that have to call the unhappy customers, presumably, and get a bashing, right? Get basically apologize with the tail between your legs and get an abuse and a bashing by people that are unhappy and unproductive and unsuccessful because of you and your product and your service and company, right? What could suck more as a salesperson than actually having to call unhappy customers because your service is down to a certain degree? It fucking sucks. Nobody wants to do it, and usually the way you do it is that you call because you feel so horrible about it. You're super apologetic, you're super weak, you feel horrible, and that translates into the dynamic of the conversation that actually makes the other party and stimulates the other party to actually be abusive to you and feel awkward or unhappy, or even worse than they did before you called them. Nobody's being helped by these kind of apologetic, shitty calls, right? So what you do instead is you try to ask yourself a couple of questions on how can we actually take this crisis and turn it into an opportunity. First of all, when we call people, we called and we apologized. We told them, and we didn't say we apologize for any inconveniences, right? Not that our company may or may not have caused, right? Not a shitty corporate apology like that, but a real one, like, hey, I'm sorry. Not our company is sorry, not some magical person. No, I'm Steli. I am sorry. I take responsibility for this. We were transparent with them. Here's what happened. We were transparent with them. Here's what we're doing to fix this issue. And it's hard to give you a timeline, but here's what we assume what's going to happen next. And we want to just keep you up to date and let you know what's going on. And then we would ask them, hey, how are things going over there? How are you guys coping? Do you even do any calls today? Did this affect you at all or not? If it affected you, what kind of workarounds are you using right now to make sure that your team can keep their performance up? If they didn't have good workarounds, we would offer them and could kind of consult them on how to deal with this. And we were just there, first and foremost, being transparent about letting them know what's going on. Then, apologizing, saying we're sorry, owning up to the mistakes and the issues, and then actually helping them with workarounds, consulting them with other ways to actually get to their end goal and be able to keep being productive on the sales floor. And then once all that happened, what we would do is we would try to figure out how much kind of damage has been done here. What do we have to do to own up to that? In some cases, we had to actually step in beyond what we would reasonably and normally do and actually make sure that we keep this customer as happy as humanly possible. In other cases, it was not as dramatic, and people would tell us, you know what, chill, don't worry about this. It's crazy that you even took the time to call. Our salespeople just using, their cell phones or the hotline, or they're doing some other workaround that's not that bad. Everyone has these issues. I really appreciate the way you guys have communicated and owning up to them. Don't worry, I'm super happy. We're super happy. So here's the deal. Once we addressed the crisis with them and we managed it, the next thing we did is we didn't just hang up. Now we had a conversation. We talked for 5-10 minutes. here's an opportunity to actually turn this into a real opportunity for both sides. So we would actually ask them, hey, beyond this little blip in the timeline in the history of our relationship, how happy have you been lately? So we turned this crisis call into a customer success call, right? How happy have you been? How much value have you been getting from the software? Anything that we need to do better? Anything that you need that we're not providing? Kind of any feedback, testimonial? Let's figure out like how healthy is this relationship beyond the crisis itself. And when people had issues beyond the crisis, when there was like real kind of underlying challenges, we would take the time to actually address them, take that feedback, try to work with them to turn them into a super successful and happy customer, and we'll put them on our watch list to work with and support until we could get them there. If they were already happy, and if you told us that they're super happy and they get tons and tons of value out of the service, what we would actually do is we would turn that crisis call, turned into success call, into a sales call. Now what we would tell them is this: hey, now that we've established that, the crisis is being managed, you guys are actually super successful and happy with the software, let's try to figure out a way to actually deepen this relationship and make it even better. Let me ask you this, could you see yourself in the next 6, 12, 18 months to keep using our product, keep using Closeout for your sales team and keep growing your sales team with our software? And most of the time, when we asked that question, we were pretty sure that people would actually answer yes. So people would say, yeah, I can see myself use the software in the long term. Could you see yourself using the software in the long term for the next year or so? Yes. Once we got that yes, we pitched them on a prepaid or annual contract if they weren't already on one. So we took that month-to-month customer and that crisis to actually sell them and pitch them on a prepayment for the next 12 months, or even just an annual contract that was still a monthly payment, but actually locked them in for the next 12 months. And in return, what we gave them is a much better price. So what we tell them is like, hey, here's an opportunity for us to give you a lot better price, save you some money, deepen this relationship and this commitment on both ends, and actually turn this into a really valuable and productive call. And you know what the crazy thing is? We sold tons and tons of prepaid contracts during that crisis. That day that would have been wasted on pure crisis management, as from the sales team's perspective, just purely calling people, apologizing and saying I'm sorry, turned into calls that went from we're sorry to are you successful? In case where there weren't, we actually made sure that the customer success team took care of these people and turned them successful. In the case that there were, we turned those into real sales opportunities, and we closed thousands and thousands and thousands worth of prepaid contracts on that single day. That's how you take a company crisis and turn it into a sales opportunity. So next time your company fucks up and messes up and your product is down, your technology is down, your site is offline, something horrible happens, here's what you need to do. Ask yourself, how can we act as quickly as possible to communicate as transparently and openly as possible to people what's going on? Let's not just push this over to the support team. Let's not just push this over to the technical team. Let's actually, from the sales team side, take responsibility, ownership for this to help manage this crisis. Let's call people and apologize. Let's find out if they're happy. And if they are, let's sell them on a more long-term relationship with our company. Here's how you take a crisis, turn it into an opportunity. Next time that you're in a situation like that, just don't act out of like fear and like all kinds of like urgency. Take a moment, take a breath, and before you start calling people and apologizing, think through how can we approach this from a position of friendly strength. How can we actually get on these calls and really just turn these calls into real opportunities for both ends to make the relationship even more meaningful, and it'll make these crises into real sales opportunities and real sales boosts for your company, something that most businesses would lack the hustle and energy and perspective and vision to actually do. Most businesses in crisis hide. Those that don't hide, they're transparent and they communicate, but it's just the most awesome companies in my mind are the companies that actually take advantage of crisis and turn it into an opportunity. And hopefully I shared a small, simple plan of action that you can take for your business next time around to actually put this into practice, make more money, make more customers successful, and turn something that made you feel horrible into something that makes you feel empowered and happy and actually proud of your own company.